All right, folks, let's explore some tools and formulas to help us take some raw data and just tweak and format a little bit for our specific purposes. In this case, we're going to explore how to take a full name, so first and last, split it up, grab the first initial, and maybe auto-generate an email address from that information. And simultaneously, how to, if you have an email address, how might you perhaps pull out a first name, or rather last name, from that email address. So here we go. On my attendance sheet right here, what I'm going to first do is, I've already done a whole bunch of these tools and formulas to generate email addresses or whatnot, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull just the text from these full names, and we'll start with that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all of that. Note that since this text came from a formula, instead of just pressing paste here, I'm going to Control-click, paste special, paste values only. Okay, and so what I'm going to do now is the first thing I want to do is I say, in each of these cells, I have a first and last name. I want to split this into first names and last names. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to first paste the same thing again here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the text. So Shift, Command, down. I've got all the data that I want to do this for. And I'm just going to go to Data. And there's a really handy dandy feature called Split Text to Columns. So I'll click that. It's going to say, hey, what is the separator? What should I be looking for to then, well, separate into columns? You can select Detect Automatically. In this case, I know it's a space. When I click on space, check it out. It automatically split these first last names into first names and last names. I highly recommend that you go through and you make sure that it has done this successfully. You never know when folks have a middle initial or some other formatting in their name that might make that formula do it incorrectly. Great. The next thing we want to do, because we're going to want to generate an email address, is pull the first letter of the first name from this column. How can we do that? We're going to use a formula called left. So I've highlighted the cell that I want to do this in. I'm going to write equals left. I'm going to open my parentheses. So left, what does it do? It returns a substring from the beginning of a specified string. So in this case, from where am I pulling? I'm pulling from this cell right here. Great. Then I'm going to press comma. How many characters would I like to pull from it? Just one, just the first letter. Close the parentheses, press enter. And oftentimes Google Sheets will try to predict and then ask, hey, do you want to do this for everyone in this column? And you say, you know what? I do want to do it for everyone in this column. Press check, and it will have automatically filled in that exact same formula, pulling from the appropriate cells as we go. So great, we've pulled the first initials from the first names. Now let's create an email address. So what do we want to do with an email address? Well, we're going to want to do the first initial, followed by the last name, followed by @friendsseminary.org. And so in this case, I want to show us something called the join function, or the join formula. It does exactly what you think it does. So I've highlighted the cell in question. I'm going to write equals join. And so what does join do? First it says, hey, what do you want to put between all of the things? Do you want to put a colon, a semicolon, a dash, a comma? What do you want to put? In this case, actually, I just want to put nothing. I just want to smoosh these together without anything in between. So I'm actually just going to put a comma, which means go to the next part of this formula. I don't want a delimiter at all. So comma. Okay, what's the first thing I want? Well, I want the first initial, comma. Then I want the last name, comma. And then I want the actual text @friendsseminary.org. And because that's actual text and I'm not drawing from a cell or something, I need to put this in quotations. So @friendsseminary.org and quotations and parentheses. Let's press enter, see what happens. Oh, that looks good to me. First letter, last name @friendsseminary.org. Do you want to do this for the rest of them? Why, yes, I do. Check. So I have auto done that. I'll just take a moment to show you what happens if you do put in a delimiter. So maybe I'd want, I don't know, a colon between all of them. I don't know. So Here what I've done is I've decided that the delimiter would be in this case, a semicolon. And so watch what happens to the outcome when I do that. There would become a semicolon between all of the things that I just joined, right? Between the J, the googly eyes, and the @friendseminary.org. So in this case, that's not what I wanted. So I'm going to undo that. But just wanted to let you know that this join feature does allow you to do some sort of unique formatting or whatnot, should you so choose.